Hi, I am Erika, your 2020 president for the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors. Today we're speaking with Diane Arvizo, who is the Director of Home Ownership Programs at the Nevada Rural Housing Authority. Diane, welcome. Tell us more about yourself and the program, which we all know as Home at Last.
Thank you, Erika. You know I'm super excited to be here with you today. Virtually through Zoom is still great, even though it's not face-to-face. I had the pleasure of meeting with you over the radio not too long ago, so it's nice that we can get back together again soon. I've been with Nevada Rural Housing Authority for 5 years, and prior to that, I have been actually in the real estate industry since the age of 16. I started typing policies of title insurance for a title company back when I was in high school. So it's been in my blood for a very long time. At Nevada Rural Housing Authority, we're kind of known as a quasi-governmental agency. And what that means is we operate under the oversight of a board of commissioners, and they are appointed by the Nevada Association of Counties and the Nevada Nevada League of Cities and Municipalities. So that kind of gives us the ability to be nimble and innovative. So we love that, especially in a market like right now. Our jurisdiction is, we basically serve every area under 150,000. So your members love that that includes all of Sparks. Yep, all of Sparks. So we totally love that. So Home at Last, man, you're not going to believe this, but like last month in March, we actually set a record for the use of down payment assistance in our program. Okay. So when people are talking about, are the programs suspended? We actually have been busier than all get out, which I know we're going to get to in our talk today. So Home at Last, many of your members are rock stars using the Home at Last down payment assistance program. We love them for that. The National Association of Realtors had just reported a couple weeks ago in their flash survey that 33% of realtors reported that there were no delay in closings. And we got to agree, that statistic supports that we're seeing the same thing in our Home at Last performance. It's awesome. For first-time home buyers and even not first-time home buyers, like with Home at Last, we don't require first-time home buyers for the program. Down payment assistance is often the #1 hurdle to becoming a home buyer. And so Home at Last is an excellent resource for helping people get into a home of their own. We do know that National Association of Realtors also reports that 35% of folks still believe that 16 to 20% of down payment is required to be able to get into a home. So through Home at Last, we provide up to $25,000 in down payment assistance, and we also provide a no assisted option, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And we love to dispel those rumors that there's actually no down payment required when you use a down payment assistance program like Home at Last. So like right now today, we have a 2.75% interest rate for a no assistance option, which means someone who doesn't need down payment and they just want an affordable rate, they can get 2.75% interest. Wow. For someone who needs a little bit of assistance, like 4%, which is enough to cover that required 3.5% FHA down payment, you know what the rate is today? It's only 3.625.
Wow.
Yeah, 3.625, and we give them 4% down payment assistance. And the rate on 2% down payment is only 2.875. And I see on social media all the time, I try not to say too much, but I see on social media all the time, the rates are in the 3s, which they are, but we're doing rates in the 2s. It's awesome. And a lot of your members, we love the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors because they're so knowledgeable. They stay educated. They're doing a great job, but it is hard to keep up. I got an email just about probably 10 minutes before we got on this call today. And a realtor had got a contract, and the buyer was going to use our Home at Last down payment assistance, and they were concerned that there was no funding. Well, first of all, we don't ever run out of funding because it's a market-based program, mortgage-backed securities. We never run out of funding. It's not a limited funding program. And so there's this rumor that there's no funding or it's been suspended, and it just couldn't be further from the truth. And I know we're going to get into that too. So with the Home at Last program, there's no purchase requirements. Purchase price limits. Basically, if they earn below 135,000 and have a FICO score of 640, they're golden. They just need to meet the standard underwriting requirements. We haven't changed a thing when it comes to the minimum requirements to get into the Home at Last program. And every option with Home at Last is forgiven in 3 years. Everyone.
Wow, that's incredible. And so some of the program requirements that I'm seeing, and that's a lovely picture of you out there, by the way. The maximum. I don't think so. That looks like you. No more than a maximum income of 135,000, minimum credit score of 640, must be primary residence, must be in a community with a population under 150,000, and home buyer education is still required. Do all of those requirements still stand today?
Yes, that
Awesome.
is all true. Yes, and in Washoe County, I'm sorry, Erica, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The education part. How do you handle the education part now?
Yes, so the education part, we have our own proprietary education site. It's called Home at Last University. We are so excited. We launched this last July. It lives on our website. We control all of the content. And now we have education modules for home buyers, which we've been doing that for a long time. But now we get to customize it like live in the minute. It doesn't take a whole redo of the program to be able to get the content updated. But we have home buyer education, we have the realtor certification program, and we have our lender training program online as well. So all of that lives within Home at Last University. It's available 24/7. It enables the program information to go right out to people 24/7 so that they can stay updated and have that information available to them right from their comfortable home.
That's incredible. I think I probably saw that at some point in time and forgot about it. And I just recall the old-fashioned days where the buyers would go to an actual class. So I just thought it would be good to bring that back up and just let them know it's something that they can do online. And
yes,
what a better thing to do than to educate yourself on the opportunities and what it's like to become a homeowner, and also what you need to do in order to make that happen. So
I couldn't agree with you more, Erica. Right now, especially while people are following stay-at-home orders and social distancing, while they're at home, and if they're thinking about becoming a homeowner, your members, they're encouraging their home buyers to be taking the education program online. This is the time to be doing that. This is the time for them to be looking at their budgets, to be looking at what do I need to be doing to get my steps kind of in order, my ducks in order, to be ready for homeownership when the time comes, whether that's in 3 months or 6 months or even a year from now.
Right.
If you want to become a homeowner, you have to start somewhere. And so the Home at Last education program is a perfect starting point. We basically walk the homebuyer through the entire process of buying a home from start to finish.
And does that class expire at some point in time? What if they're thinking about purchasing a house in 3 months or 6 months or 1 year?
Great question. The certificate is good for 1 year.
Okay, wonderful. Which is an incredible amount of time. So that's just awesome. Okay,
well, it's helpful so that when they start now, they don't feel like they've wasted their time if it takes them 3 or 6 months. We want to make sure that they know that if they're being educated now, we understand it takes a while for them to go through that process. And so we don't want to torture them by having them take the class again in 6 months. And if they indicate when they log in and register, if they indicate who they're working with as a Home at Last lender, we automatically send the certificate to the lender as well so that it's in their loan file, since it is mandatory that they take home buyer education to purchase a home with down payment assistance.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so stating the obvious, so much has changed or is changing for real estate. How is the down payment assistance program like Home at Last being impacted right now?
Oh, Erica, if there is one thing that I'd want to communicate with all of your members right now, and I have to give a shout out because so many of your members, gosh, they're so stinking smart. They're amazing. We're getting calls from them all the time. You do the right thing by calling us. But if there is one thing that I would want your members to know is that we are 100% operational and we haven't skipped a beat. Like I said, I got that email right before we got on board. Are you out of funding? We need confirmation that the programs are still going. There are so many rumors out there right now that the down payment assistance programs or the bond programs, however you refer to them, that they're either suspended or that they're not operational, and nothing could be further from the truth. And in fact, when you heard me talk about the interest rates that we're offering, this is unprecedented times right now where you can get an interest rate in the 2s with down payment assistance. I mean, is that not just incredible? So this is a time where realtors really should be taking the opportunity to talk to home buyers about now more than ever is an incredible time if they are in a stable position, ready to buy a home or almost ready to buy a home, to really look at down payment assistance as the most viable option out there. It's incredible. So there's been no changes at all to the program in terms of like the credit score. So a lot of lenders and banks especially, you will have heard that they are tightening their credit box. Right. And kind of what that means is maybe they're requiring a higher FICO score. We've heard a lot of lenders require like a 700 FICO score now. So it really takes a high quality borrower, if you will, to be able to get a traditional loan. And we have not changed any of our FICO requirements. So really 640 is still the minimum FICO score to get into the Home at Last program. Our debt to income ratios still remain the same. Basically what you needed to qualify 6 months ago is still the same today. So that's not the case with Home at Last. And it's important that your members be that primary point of contact for home buyers who are looking for answers. And so when Mr. or Mrs. Homebuyer call up and say, can you please tell me, is down payment assistance in the Home at Last program an option for me? Your members can tell them absolutely yes. So that's the most important thing I want to be able to communicate today is if they're not sure, come to us, let us be the source of information. Let us dispel any rumors that it's suspended, because now is a great time for a lot of home buyers to buy.
I really appreciate that. And in an environment where so much is changing every single day, it's so nice to have something that is the same, it's consistent, it's reliable, which, not a lot of people feel that they have that grasp on everything today. So it's just wonderful that Home at Last is still providing these same programs and making home ownership, the home ownership dream, something that really can come true. With regards to the Home at Last team, I know your team is usually out and about, popping into office, spreading the word about the program. How is your work going in this environment?
Boy, you got that right, Erica. Most people are used to seeing the Home at Last team out and about and popping into places, or I'm sure they've seen us on social media. If your members aren't following us on Facebook or Instagram, they certainly should be, because we are pretty darn active. But yeah, we are working from home. We are working totally remotely. I will tell you that before we were even like thinking about having to do stay-at-home orders, we already had our plan in place. All our staff had been taking their laptops home. We already had our work from home plan in place, and it was just a matter of flipping the switch, and the next business morning we were ready to go. So there was literally no skip in business as usual. So we've been operational 100% of the time, and everyone is just working the same as they always have been. And we've been doing some actually really fun things. Home at Last is always known for kind of thinking outside the box and doing some fun things. So we immediately launched our Home at Last care packages. And so I'm sure many of your members, in fact, I know many of your members have seen online, we've been doing kind of like that small things, #small things campaign. We had some realtors call out and and asked for some HAL care packages, and that included some hand sanitizer, which was in demand. Not a lot of
Oh,
people could
wow.
get sanitizer. So
Yeah.
anybody who needs Home at Last hand sanitizer, we've got that for you. But we even had one of your members tell us about a truck driver that needed some pens because of that person-to-person contact. Man, we've got a box full of our Home at Last pens, got that shipped out, and we just love being able to do stuff like that. Not because it makes us feel good, although it does, but because it makes a difference on the other end. And I think the
Right.
more things we can all do together, the greater it all is as a family. We're all working together. So yeah, we've just been cooking all along.
You guys are just so wonderful.
Right
Thank
back
you.
at you. You know your organization is wonderful too. We've been a partner for success with you guys for so long, and we just love you guys right back. So thanks for that, Erika.
Well, actually, you just led right into my next question and didn't even realize it. Our job at RSAR is to provide the resource our members need to be successful, which is why we like to bring partners like yourself on to help educate. What is Home at Last doing to help realtors right now, besides what you just kind of covered? I know you guys are doing so much more.
Yeah, that's such a good question, Erika. So one of the first, I think probably the third or fourth phone call that I got after we kind of transitioned to home and people were kind of getting situated, I got a call from a realtor who had a transaction, and there was a particular lender who had a situation. They could not do the down payment assistance, and they needed to know who they could work with. And one of the things, for those who work with Home at Last, you know how much we support both our participating lenders and our participating agents who engage with us. You know how we roll. And the first thing that we did was say, you recognize that now more than ever, when people are working from home, that this is an opportunity for realtors, your members, to kind of look at their business plans, look at their business model, and maybe expand who they're working with. Who are their lenders? Maybe put a few more Home at Last lenders kind of in the mix and expand their partnerships. And so we have been working with a lot of realtors to look at that and kind of expand their relationships a little bit. So it's been really fun to be able to kind of help add to that. So we've been giving out some referrals, realtor to lender referrals, which is great. Normally it's buyer to lender, buyer to realtor, but this has been a lot about kind of the dating game between realtors and lenders. It's been really wonderful.
That's awesome.
So that's one thing for sure. Another thing, of course, is the Home at Last University, which we've been doing a lot of the education online. We just kind of kicked off the program training for lenders, and that's enabled us to make sure that people are getting the training and access to be able to use the program online. So it's important that realtors who are at home right now that maybe have been so busy with this awesome market that we've had and have been too busy to kind of stay up to date and refreshed on the programs, that they actually take some time to go through the program online through Home at Last University, get refreshed, because this is not the program that it was 5 years ago. Home at Last today is a whole new game. And it's really important that they understand how that can really help their business model succeed today.
Oh, that's incredible. And I see on your PowerPoints, you have the information for Home at Last, and then you also have a search for realtors that are familiar with Home at Last.
Yeah, and I think there's not enough to be said in a business where you thrive and where your success depends upon referrals, that there's something really to be said about giving a quality referral. I will tell you, we've had realtors email us, call us, and say, why am I not on your website? And I will tell you straight up, if you're not engaged with Home at Last and you're not promoting the program, or you're not really advocating for the use of our program, you have never done a down payment assistance and you don't bother to tell your people about it. And of course I say you, not you, Erika, but in general, if you're not up to speed on it and it's really not in your kind of fold to be able to tell people about it, why would we refer people to you? If you're not an advocate for the program, why would we refer people to you? So it's really important that we make sure we refer only people who are engaged with the program, who kind of know what we're offering, and are truly going to be helping our home buyers who depend on Home at Last as the avenue to getting to an affordable home and affordable home ownership. Sorry, hit my camera. We want to make sure that home buyers are getting the right connections. And so to us, we take that referral page so seriously. And I tell you, we update it, we monitor it, we embrace it for what it truly can be. And there's nothing more gratifying than to be able to add new referrals to our website. We get so much traffic on that page. Thousands of people every month, home buyers, go through that page. And so we really want it to be a meaningful connection for people. So we don't just throw anybody up there. We want to see Facebook posts, hashtagging us. When you're a realtor and you're hashtagging Home at Last, we know you're out there speaking about the program. When you're doing a closing and you're like, thanks, Home at Last. Well, thank you for being an awesome realtor who shows the whole cycle, the whole ecosystem of how you get people into a home. Do you not think that would be super encouraging for another home buyer who's watching what you're posting? That's very encouraging when people can see the hope of home ownership through the way you communicate. So the referral piece is so huge. We love that piece. So hope that helps.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what would an interested realtor do as a first step to engage with Home at Last?
Man, you can just get on Facebook right now and hashtag, hey, I saw that interview with Erika. Erika rocks first, by the way. RSAR rocks, by the way. And Home at Last, I cannot wait to help our next home buyer get into a program using your down payment assistance. Boom, we'll see ya. We'll get you on that referral page. If you haven't taken the Home at Last Realtor Education course, that's the first thing you're going to want to do. Get on there, complete that. That's going to get you your certificate that shows that you are certified, and then just get some social media stuff going. We'll see ya. We always see you.
It's awesome. Well, Diane, I love just seeing your sweet face, and you're always
I feel the same about
such
you,
a
Erika.
wonderful and happy person. And I can't wait to see you again in person when we all get to go back to a somewhat normal function of life. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because I know so many of our realtor members have been confused, didn't know whether or not this program was still an option. And like you said, there is so much other information going on about the lenders tightening up the requirements that people are just worried that this program went away. And I'm so happy that you were willing to share with us right now and take the time to tell everybody, hey, this is still available. It's still a possibility. It's still a dream for anybody who wants to pursue this path. So thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Erika. I just want to give you the biggest virtual hug right now and say thank you for everything that you're doing. As the president of an incredible organization, we know how hard you're working right now to give good information, to give correct information, to be supportive, to be strong for your members. It's not an easy job that you have, and we just really appreciate everything you're doing. I just can't thank you enough. Thank you for having me on today. And you know that we're here for you anytime. People could reach out to us with any questions on the program. Our email is HAL, Home at Last, HAL, at nvrural.org. So they can just email us at hal@nvrural.org. And we're happy to answer any questions. We want to be a good support to you. And Erika, anytime you need us, we're here for you. So thanks for all you're doing.
And then to our members, if you haven't taken the Home at Last classes, we encourage you to go ahead and do it. There's a lot of educational opportunities that are available to you right now, either from Home at Last, through NAR, CRS. So many wonderful organizations are offering so many classes to you right now that are free, that are available to you to help you to not only help you with your business, but also to help you to be a better realtor, better agent to your clients. So we encourage you to use this time, if you've got it available, to get some additional education. And don't forget, we are essential. You can be out there working, and there's still wonderful programs like this that are available so that you can help your clients or your friends get into the home of their dreams. Until we speak again, have a great day and be safe.